Right, I've got two triangles here connected together, so presumably at some point we'll be calculating AC, and actually part A does ask us to find that, and then we'll use that to help us calculate BC. I can see how that's going to work. They're not right angled triangles, so Pythagoras' theorem, trigonometry, out the window. They're not similar triangles either, presumably. I mean, we could work out this angle here. It's not going to be 46. So that's also out the window. So we're in advanced trigonometry territory. Sine rule, cosine rule. Those are the things that's going through my head when I'm looking at this question. And if I want to find out AC, well, that's this length here. I can see that I've got two sides and the angle in between, and that is set up, therefore, for the cosine rule. And the cosine rule says that a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos capital A. So I'm going to forget how these are labelled. I have no interest in that. I get to decide what I'm going to label everything. And I'm going to sort of temporarily cross these off, in fact. So don't ever be afraid of relabeling a diagram. Okay, this is going to be capital A, and therefore this is going to be little a. And that's the one I want to find. And then this can be little b, and this can be little c. You can do these either way around. We don't need the angles labelled. And now we're in a great place. A squared is going to equal 18 squared minus, not minus, plus 14 squared minus 2 times 18 times 14 cos of the angle 46. I'm just going to put that into my calculator, and I reckon I'm going to get 13. We'll find out. Okay, just put in exactly like you've written it there. We just have to remember the cosine rule, otherwise you're not in a great place. Right, that remember that is a squared. I think I'll write that down. 169.89. And therefore A, which is AC, I might bring it back at that point, this notation, is going to be the square root. You know what? We don't need to say that we're square rooting it. We're like in the second to last question in this whole paper, I think. So we get 13.034, 13.034, and then I would just say 13.0 centimeters, 3SF. Okay, enough working going on there. Right, so this is good. We've got 13, like we should, now in part B, if we are going to use this, we should use like the fuller version, not the rounded version, okay? That's just an answer. We should revert back to the full version to be as precise as we can. So when I'm looking at this, we want to find out what BC is. Okay, that's this length here. And what starts jumping at me is the sine rule. Okay, we're not going to use the cosine rule again. I mean, that's not going to happen. And also, we only know one side, this one that we've just found. But if even if we couldn't do part A, we could then use 13.0, and we would be okay, even though we should use the non-rounded version. All right, so I've got the angle. I don't know this one, and then I know this one, but I don't know the angle. But I do because I know these two angles. So this is going to be 159, and therefore that's going to be 21 degrees. So I can write down the sine rule. I can write down that BC divided by sine 78 equals AC, which is 13.034 divided by sine 21. Okay, I just got the two sides up here and I'm dividing by the angles. I'm not going to go into where that comes from. It also equals AB divided by sine 81, but I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in finding BC. So BC will equal, we can multiply through by sine 78, 13.034 sine 78 divided by sine 21. Magnificent. Okay, and I can use the answer button. That's really good. And I can just times it by sine 78. And then I can divide by sine 21. And that's exactly the same as writing it as a fraction. Nothing wrong with that. I've shown enough working. 35.576. 35.576. Does that seem right? Yeah, I mean, it feels all right, I think, because these angles are quite large, so I would sort of expect this side to be quite a bit shorter than both of these two. So just to finish off, let's round it to three significant figures again. 35.6. Just out of curiosity, I think we'd be okay if we had used 13.0. We wouldn't lose that last little significant figure. We'd be all right. Let's just see what happens. Times it by sine 78. Oh no, sign corrected. Yeah, we need to, that's why you need to keep using your full figure, because that 3 actually factors in and affects the significant figure. We would write 35.5, which is not quite right, and I would expect to be penalised, to be honest. I'm not sure if the GCSE paper will do here, but that's why you should always, you shouldn't use rounded answers. You should use your original answer. The answer is 35.6 centimetres.